Ball at 6'8" and some change. Huge force at the net.
Yeah, so that will be a big factor within the game tonight. We'll see how Kramer can go against that undersized Arkansas Razorback squad. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some SEC volleyball here on the SEC Network. All the subs finishing things up, and that's part of what Arkansas does. They've got 3 different student athletes that have worn the libero jersey, and they will all be on the floor at the same time tonight.
With the, like I said, the difference in height, you have to rely on that. It's going to be a lot of gritty defense from Arkansas, and as an undersized offensive team, they really swing for the fences. You'll see a lot of offense from them, two setters rather, that can really distribute the ball.
Claire Trainer serves first, and the Gators go right to the middle. Dooley gets stuffed. And already we have a net violation on Florida, so Arkansas will have the first point of the match.
Maybe a little overzealous on the blocking. That's something that Florida has been known for. It's a mainstay in their arsenal, their presence and stopping the play at the net. Huge blocking team.
Trainer serves again. They'll go outside right side, and it's blocked. Great job there by Arkansas. Elizabeth Famfile from Orlando, so a Florida native gets the block.
And with a double block up also, that shows that Arkansas has scouted Holly Carlton and the Gators. The Gators often look to establish Carlton at 6'7", no short stuff herself, at the right side as a lefty.
They'll set to Thayer Hall this time, and she gets the first kill of the match for the Florida Gators, something that obviously Florida is used to seeing.
A lot of swings from Hall, and in this case, going right over top of the block on a hard angle swing. That's something that we saw in the matchup with Arkansas last time, is that Hall is often in a situation where she can hit over the block, not just through or around.
Hall will serve. Arkansas to the outside. Nice block there by Dooley. Arkansas recovers. The tip. And now they'll go to the back, and Hall's is just long. This is the 21st consecutive match that the Gators have used this starting lineup, so Mary Wise has certainly found something she's comfortable with.
Yeah, you're right, and I think at this point it's all about fine-tuning. I mentioned in the opening about the Kentucky match, and Florida really had to go back to the drawing board. Kentucky is a phenomenal team, but to figure out exactly what with this lineup could be done to really maximize the talent on the court.
Good tip there by Carlton after she was blocked the first time. Does a nice job of hitting it off the hands and getting the Gators the point. So now Arkansas leads it 3-2 as Allie Gregory goes back to serve.
Allie Gregory is one of the best servers for Florida. She's got this float serve that just the bottom drops out of it. You can see that there as she serves deep.
And a quick job by the middle there, Rachel Rippey. It's the point for Arkansas. Nice job.
Yeah, and Rippey actually as the setter, and this can be really confusing as you're watching sometimes, particularly with the camera angle from the side that we have. But you'll have a middle go up for quick offense, and then when the setter's in the front row, as Rippey was, she can dump the ball. Something that she's accustomed to. She's actually hitting 276 on the season.
Gracie Ryan with the serve, another Florida native, but there is Rachel Kramer. And it gives Florida their third point.
Now, speaking of hitting, Kramer's just under 400 and just outreaching at the net. Look at this height difference here between Kramer and Durgel, 5 inches, and that's not counting arm length.
Gators block it.
Looked like a little bit of a slip there at the net by Marley Monserrat. You have to wonder if, looks like she's moving okay now.
Great dig there by Allie Gregory. Hall will just have to punch it over. So Arkansas will set up the offense.
There's that big Gator block also directing the ball right to Holly Carlton in the back row on defense.
Good job by Hammonds recognizing the tip, and Monserrat will just dump it over to tie up the match.
And we mentioned that. So let's go back to the defense here. You can see pancake dig from Allie Gregory, who was just recognized earlier in the season for her 1,000th dig. She's all over the place. I think one of the best attributes that Gregory brings to the game is her read. She knows where to be. She knows how she fits into the defense. Didn't really see this on the last one as Arkansas finds their way around the double block by the Gators.
Well, Gregory had 13 digs against Arkansas the first time they met. Maitland Garrett, the freshman, making the start tonight.
These two teams are unique in, oh wow. We're going to put a pin in that and talk about the slide by Rachel Kramer. When you've got the height advantage that Kramer has, and then you put her on the slide, so she's facing one blocker, it's fireworks for the Gators.
Well, and Rachel's third amongst active D1 players in hitting percentage. So normally when she swings, it's hitting the floor on the other side.
And it's one thing to talk about her height, but Kramer's really cerebral in her approach to the game. She's got high IQ according to Florida coaches and is a sponge for learning, like I said, how to fit into the offense, much like Gregory fits into the defense, and has just continued to improve with every season. You can see Arkansas with the pace now, outmatching the Gators, which,
Arkansas was in the net.
Arkansas in the net, but had that not been the case, Florida really, in that last exchange, struggling to get back to base position and set up a defense against Arkansas. When you've got a height disadvantage, that's one of the ways you can keep yourself in the game, and that's to pick up the pace of your offense.
There was Jason Watson, fourth year at Arkansas, their head coach. Been at it a long time. Coaching college volleyball, 15 years to be exact. Service error by the Gators.
You always hate to see that whenever you put together a point, regardless of whether it's an error on the other side, but you get an opportunity to start some momentum and then turn around and an error on the serve.
Here's Crumpton to serve for Arkansas. Send it to Hammonds, and an overpass is in Florida's favor as the Gators take their first lead, 7-6.
You look up at the score on this, and for all the talk I've done about the height difference between these two teams, it really doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but Florida is known as a team that really works to find a groove throughout the first set. And I don't want to say peaks late in the match, but doesn't overextend early on. It really works to find a rhythm to work into.
So Hargraves comes in to serve, and Dooley can't put it down on an overpass. So an error there by the Gators evens things up at 7 apiece.
And with a direction block like that from the middle, Lauren Dooley, that's typically a high yield play. That's low hanging fruit. Instead of swinging on the overpass and risking an error, you don't normally see an error on that play.
And Dooley was great against Arkansas the first time they met. She had 12 blocks in that match, was a career high in Fayetteville earlier this season. Nice serve, but Marley Montre gets it back, but nice job by Arkansas. Maggie Cartwright gets the kill.
The outside hitter for Arkansas, not waiting to set up another 3 contacts, just going right back and keeping constant pressure on the Gators.
Gators have done a good job so far against Arkansas's best player, number 10, Jillian Gillian. The freshman has been phenomenal for them, and now serve into the net, but it gets over, and Arkansas takes a 2-point lead at 9-7.
You don't see a whole lot of concern on the side of the Gators. Marley Monserrat smiling as she's setting up the offense. Arkansas looking equally as relaxed, but catching a couple breaks early on in this match to keep them ahead in the score.
Evans with the jump serve. And Hall, the nice swing, but another net violation on the Gators as Thayer touched it.
Had a great touch by Savannah Dowling, the libero for Arkansas, number 2, getting a dig on this ball, looking right down the barrel of this, and had Thayer Hall not been in the net, that ball would have been a really nice transition dig.
So Arkansas on a 4-0 run. Mary Wise is going to call her first time out. Arkansas up 10-7 here in set 1. We'll be right back here on the SEC Network. Final 2 matches of the regular season this week, and then on Sunday, the selection show on ESPNU. Then we'll see if the Gators host first and second rounds. That's December 5th through the 7th. Then, of course, regionals, and then the Final 4, and we'll wrap up a national champion on December 21st. Back to action here, where Arkansas leads 10-7. We'll see if the Gators can come back. They go right to the middle, but a nice block there by Elizabeth Pamfield, and Arkansas takes a 4-point lead.
Arkansas coming into Gainesville with nothing to lose today and playing like it. Very low error volleyball, only 1 hitting error for the entire team. Florida, on the other hand, struggling to catch a rhythm. 7 unforced errors of Arkansas's 11 points so far.
And 5 of their 11 points have come on Florida errors. 4 attack errors and 1 service error. And Gators, another error, so 12-7.
Already a change at the middle as we see Darielle King now in for some action.
So a 6-0 run for the Razorbacks. And it finally ends with a service error, but a nice job by Elise Crumpton, the sophomore from Houston, Texas, who gave her team a nice run.
And yeah, you can't take anything away from Arkansas. Despite Florida's errors, Arkansas is out here getting blocks, getting quality touches at the net, and keeping pressure offensively on the Gators, maybe forcing some of these errors.
Well, Marley Monserrat is going to get herself an ace.
Monserrat with her 21st ace on the season. There are a number of Gators when they go back to, 12th ace on the season. When she goes back to the line, she's one of about 3 or 4 Gators that are high production, also high error, however. You know, as long as you're pushing that aggressive serve, you run the risk of error.
Another good serve. Arkansas is going to be scrambling to get it over, so the Gators see what they can do offensively. They'll send it out to Hall, and she gets blocked. Another great job. We talked about Arkansas's lack of size, but they've got 3 blocks now here in the early going.
You have to wonder if coming into this with Florida being able to hit high on Arkansas's block, if maybe getting a little bit too aggressive is Thayer Hall and some of the other front row players for Florida and swinging down and into the blocking range of Arkansas.
Good line drive serve there. Arkansas sends it back, so Hall's going to get another swing, and she tips it. Arkansas recovers.
What a gritty play by Arkansas.
Gregory will have to set it now. She gets it out to Carlton, who will hit it wide. And Mary Wise encouraging her team there in front of the Florida bench to get something going, because right now her team trails by 5.
Arkansas doing a really good job of getting double blocks up in front of the Gators. Expect to see offense from the Gators that looks deeper into the court and wide around the block instead of trying to take advantage of the height difference. Monserrat
sets middle. King can't get a good swing on it. So Arkansas will go to the outside, and that one is wide. A swing there from their best player, Jillian Gillian. She has been the SEC Freshman of the Week a couple of times, and Josh, she's got 101 kills over the last 4 games, so she has really made them go.
You can see her looking for a shot on that last set, but the set was off the net and inside, and when you're working at that from that height and that reach offensively, it narrows down the amount of court you can use.
Well, serves it to Gillen. The Gators going to get a chance, and Carlton can't put it away, but now she does on the tip.
Gators trying to switch things up a little bit until they can get hard-driven balls in the court. Maybe trying to loosen up Arkansas's defense a little by going back to the tip and back to off speed.
So the Gators now trail by 3 here in set number 1. All with a nice serve. She goes right at Gillen again. And Gillen can't get a good swing as Holly Carlton and Darielle King send it back.
And that was an aggressive changeup from Gillen as she tries to dump all the way deep and right back for the Gators. But when you've got Holly Carlton and Lauren Dooley up on a double block, you really have to go over the block. You can't work through, particularly on a tip.
Hall continues to attack Gillen. They'll send it out to her. The Gators will get a chance.
Gregory having to run the offense as Monserrat took the first contact there.
There's a nice set to the middle, and Darielle King sends it back. The junior from DeSoto, Texas, hasn't gotten a ton of playing time, but she has certainly taken advantage of her opportunities, and she gets the Gators to within 1.
That was a fast arm by King also against, Jeff, what we saw is a triple block from Arkansas. So Arkansas doing a really good job of recognizing who is going to get the ball. Watch how they're bunch blocked in, 6 hands up in front of King today, mostly because, again, struggling with the Razorback block, but not getting a whole lot of 3-option passes. The more Florida can pass, the more Monserrat can distribute the ball and use all of the Gator offense.
Carlton and Kramer each with 2 kills to lead the Gators. Nobody on Arkansas has more than 1.
Another net
violation. The 3rd one here in the early going, and Mary Wise is going to have a talking to Brianna Spain.
This last violation on middle blocker Darielle King. Doesn't look like there's going to be a challenge from Wise on this as Arkansas is set to serve.
So Savannah Downing will serve. And Paige Hammond's going to get a swing, and she sends it home.
Paige Hammond's finding her way right through the Arkansas seam. What a camera angle here you'll be able to see. A little bit of a gap in the block, and Hammond's going right after it. The 2 outside hitters for Florida kind of meeting in the middle. Thayer Hall coming in as a freshman last year, a player that hit hard or harder. A Gator ace.
Yeah, Hammond's 2nd kill, and then Allie Gregory with the ace, so we're knotted at 15 apiece for the senior, who will be honored on Saturday. She has been tremendous throughout her Gator career.
And quite a leader for the Gators also. Spending so much time on the court as a libero does, she has the opportunity to really get a feel for what's going on and help to congeal the the team as far as their chemistry when they're playing. Hammonds again.
Yeah, another great swing there. Goes over the block and puts it just before the end line, and the Gators take a lead 16-15. There's been 5 ties already, so a lot of back and forth here in the early going, and we'll see if the Gators can keep this lead now for the rest of the way.
And I'll finish the thought from earlier. I mentioned Thayer Hall coming in as a hard swinging outside, now working in more shots. Paige Hammonds, on the other hand, was recruited to Florida for her first contact ability. So her serve receive and her defense used to spot the ball a bit more, but now she's moving the needle toward Thayer Hall and starting to hit harder, as we saw in those last couple of swings.
So after that timeout by Mary Wise, the Gators have gone on an 8-1 run and make it 9-1 as a great block there by Kramer, and Hammonds gives the Gators a 3-point lead.
You called it, Jeff. Hammonds is cheating in just a little bit on her base position in the front row, which allows a double block out of the middle. And if Florida gets the block going, it's going to be a difficult night for Arkansas.
Point Arkansas.
Gregory with the service error. And Arkansas will sub in a couple of players. Grace Ryan will come in to serve. Gracie Ryan from Orlando, Bishop Moore High School, just a sophomore, as the Razorbacks have a couple Florida natives on their roster, but she immediately sends one too long, and the Gators have a 19-16 lead here in set number 1.
And I mentioned a pair of setters for Arkansas that can run the offense and distribute the ball. We've already talked about Rachel Rippey, Gracie Ryan being the other one. So now she's in the back row. That gives Arkansas the opportunity to hit out of 3 positions in the front row. There you see it from number 10, Jillian Gillen, hitting from the right side.
Hall from the back row gets herself a kill. And really nice swing there.
Out of the pipe, and that's
too much. And the Gators are doing a nice job of forcing her to make some mistakes.
Absolutely. As Hammond sets that block, there's such a small margin for error down the line. And then, of course, the only other option is to swing angle into the 6'8" Rachel Kramer.
They tried the other side this time. It didn't work. Hall is blocked. Monserrat goes up strong, and she wins the battle. She doesn't look like the strongest person, nor do I. But got to have some grit, and that's exactly what Marley Monserrat had.
Great cover from Kramer, and then as Monserrat turns in, as a setter, you typically win those joust sets and net. And you could see she was outsized at that, but really what it comes down to, Jeff, is timing with the joust. You want to touch the ball last. Monserrat's great at that.
Monserrat is set there to Kramer on the slide, and she will send it off an Arkansas Razorback player and give the Gators yet another point.
I mentioned earlier how Kramer continues to improve and grow as a player. Running the slide approach, as you saw on the replay there, along the net, off of 1 foot. It's kind of like a layup in basketball. But what it does is it takes away the read as far as where you're going to hit. As a player that's approaching the net, the block can set up kind of based on the angle of that approach and at least get an idea of where to play defensively. With the slide, it's a whole nother ball game.
The freshman Gillen to serve for Arkansas. Sends it to Thayer Hall. Monserrat back to Hall, and from the back row it's dug up nicely by Gracie Ryan. Good dig there by Riley Fisher, and Kramer on the slide again gives the Gators 1 point away. Set point here for Florida in set number 1.
And when you've got Kramer against a 6-foot-tall freshman outside in Maggie Cartwright, that's advantage Gators. Kudos to Monserrat for recognizing that and going right back to Kramer on the slide.
Paige Hammonds will try to get the victory here in set number 1 for Florida. Gators an opportunity here. They'll set it outside the Hall, and she will get that victory. 25-17 as the Gators come all the way back from the early deficit. Again, 5 different ties in set number 1, but the Gators winning the first set. Pretty good. 19-0, just like their record against the Arkansas Razorbacks. 19-0 all-time here against Arkansas. We'll be right back. 25-17 in the matchup tonight, and just the size difference.
Well, if I can use an analogy here, Arkansas, punching up a couple weight classes, but Florida has been taking their time, staying away just a little bit, and not overextending, trying to find a rhythm, as I mentioned earlier. And when that happens for Florida, it typically happens in 2 places, with the block, which we've seen a little bit of, and then also the first contact, allowing the Florida offense to run all their options.
Arkansas will try the freshman Gillen, but Holly Carlton says, I am up for that, and she goes high to get herself a block here to start off set number 2.
And look at that block penetration from Carlton and Darielle King out of the middle, making contact entirely on Arkansas' side of the net. Seen a little bit of a change-up from Thayer Hall as the match wears on. She was trying to put the ball down through the block by Arkansas, and now is getting a little bit of a high wrist shot and working over the block more.
Nice job by Arkansas there as Elizabeth Pamfield and Jillian Gillen get the block. Gillen, just 5'10", and a lot of schools recruited her and wanted her to be a defensive specialist, but Arkansas said, no, you can swing it, and she has really been tremendous for the Razorbacks here in season number 1. There's King getting the swing from the middle, and she will get the point for Florida. So after Dooley wasn't able to put it over on the overpass, Mary makes a move to Darielle King, and she's done a nice job.
That could have been a critical error on Dooley, but notice from King, as I mentioned earlier on, the Gators looking to swing a little deeper and wider into the court instead of burying the ball in the middle. King's swing on that last one, a good example of high hands out of the middle, trying to get a touch on the block.
Great serve there by Thayer Hall. And Arkansas can't get it back over.
Rachel Rippey being caught off guard, wasn't quite able to cover that block. I think expecting a roll shot over the Gator block, but when you're talking about 6'7" Carlton, you have to roll a little higher in order to clear that.
There's Rippey, the senior, who's just the second Razorback to lead the team in assists for 4 straight seasons. She has been phenomenal, but can't put it down there, and the Gators will get an opportunity on offense. Gregory has to send it over.
You can see Florida, yeah, you can see Florida loading to the outside, expecting that set, and credit number 10, Jillian Gillen, in swinging through that double Florida block.
Gillen this year, one of only 3 players in the SEC with more than 30 kills in a match. She has really done well for Arkansas.
And due in large part to her craftiness. She's got to be able to know when to swing high, when to work around the block. She does a good job of that.
Speaking of blocks, the Gators get one. Paige Hammonds, and again, Darielle King give the Gators their 4th point.
Paige Hammonds, her job in this scenario is to determine where the block is going to occur, where it's set. And all King has to do is close the block. She does a good job of that. She's got good foot speed, gets over and sets up a wall. And again,
Gillen blocked, and it stays in on the opposite side of the court, so the Gators will get themselves another one.
Rachel Kramer kicking all the way out to close up to Holly Carlton. The exact opposite of what we were just talking about with closing the block on the outside hitter's side. But that now, talk about a big block, Jeff. You got 6'7" Holly Carlton, 6'8.5" Rachel Kramer, and when that closes and they penetrate, you almost think that it blocks out the lights of the arena here. It's a little dark under that ball.
Well, it might have been dark on that side as Arkansas's Jason Watson will challenge and see whether or not that ball actually got down in play or was out. But the Gators right now, they're 5 points. If this stands, 4 of them have been on the block here in set number 2.
Let's take a look at this as the ball careens across the court here, landing near the sideline. Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. That looked like it may have actually bounced out.
And it looks like the conversation there with the replay official, Lisa Jordan, looks like she will overturn that. No, she says it
the Gators.
Stays on Florida's side. So it must have touched the very end of the line, and the Gators will keep their 5th point. So up 5-2 here in set number 2.
Jason Watson not looking terribly convinced, but what can you do after the call?
Arkansas will set middle. The Gators will go to the outside, and Hammonds gets dug up. Back to Gillen, and there she gets through the block that time. That's a really powerful swing from someone that's just 5'10".
5'10", but super explosive as you look here. She sees the block close and just decides to go for that seam and try to swing away to great effect. She, explosive, athletic player, Gillen.
So Gillen will serve now, but it's long.
One of the worst things that you can see in this game, with maybe the exception of a service error to finish a match, is when you get a big swing like that, you go back to serve and then loft one long.
So each team now with 3 service errors. Arkansas will go to the right side, and a nice kill there by Malin Garrett, the freshman, redshirt freshman, getting the start because Devin Wheeler had a hand injury in practice, so Wheeler will not be available today, and Garrett will try to take advantage of that opportunity from San Antonio, Texas.
When you got a big block, you do exactly what Garrett did. And oh wow.
Nice job by Monserrat there.
I was going to mention with the big block, Garrett went to tool the block. But let's talk about this dump from Marley Monserrat, recognizing that she's got a huge open net, no block up as she goes to jump set, turns and dumps, point Gators.
And that's not easy to do. Takes a lot of skill, a lot of practice, and eyes behind your head.
That's right. You
recognize that as well.
You got to look right with your right eye and straight ahead with the left one somehow. Oh, what a swing.
Yeah, great job by Maggie Cartwright, another freshman. Arkansas has 4 freshmen on this year's team, also 2 transfers, so 6 newcomers of this roster. But again, Jason Watson, he's been 15 years doing this in NCAA action, so he knows what he's doing. He's going to get this thing figured out. There you see the 4 freshmen, 5 sophomores, and just 1 senior. So a young squad. And there is a service ace. Nice job by Arkansas there.
And you mentioned Watson, matriculated from BYU back in the mid-90s in West Coast volleyball, which he's had a lot of exposure to as a player. That's on another level. Now the Gators, of course, dominating historically in the SEC, but the West Coast is the birthplace of volleyball in the country, and anybody that comes out of there as a coach knows what they're doing and can manipulate their team and their talent to get the best effect.
Great job by the setter there, Rippey, getting the kill on the overpass. Watson, 239 collegiate victories, but just 39 at Arkansas. He's 39-49 in Fayetteville. As Chanel Hargraves comes in, her second opportunity to serve. Chanel with more than 40 aces in her career.
This is a tough job when you figure it's been so long since you warm up to come in just as a serving specialist and then also have to play defense. Not in this case.
Maggie Cartwright tries to go across court, and the freshman can't get it in, so the Gators a 2-point advantage here in set number 2.
And now, of course, not at this point in Hargraves' career as a senior, but early on when you see this type of player come in, oftentimes they come in, they make a service error, and then get subbed right back out. A lot on the line.
Hargraves, nice job of keeping it alive, and Hall will get a swing. Not a good one, but that is a good one. Elizabeth Pamfield, junior from Orlando, Edgewater High School. I'm sure has a lot of family members here, just about an hour and a half from Gainesville.
And that's a name that any Arkansas fan is familiar with, as Pamfield runs a one-legged approach but straight toward the net, hitting outside the block as you saw in the replay there. Crafty play.
So Arkansas within 1. And an opportunity now on offense here to tie this set up. And they'll go to the setter. Rippey again. 3rd time that she has gotten a kill tonight.
And Thayer Hall all the way out by the pin. Nobody there to challenge Rippey. Rippey with some of that vision that you were mentioning earlier, Jeff, recognizing that there's nobody there at the net up with her. Smart choice on the dump.
So Maggie Cartwright to serve. Hammond's a good pass there, and they'll go to Hall. But it's kept alive by Arkansas. Freshman gets blocked, and the Gators get themselves another one as Monserrat and King.
And Gillen in the play prior to that doing a really good job as the off blocker and covering the blocks. Something that's not easy to do. Then when she's called on to swing, nobody there to cover when she's blocked.
King has 4 blocks now in this set. Remember Lauren Dooley, first time these two teams met, had a career best 12 blocks. And they will say a touch call there, and Gillen will get the kill for Arkansas.
Don't see anybody on the Gator side of the net disputing that. So take a look. Tough from this angle, but if anything would have caught the outside pinky finger of Holly Carlton as it blasted through.
Great serve there by Savannah Downing, but an even better swing by the Gators' Thayer Hall.
And the Gators stacking the offense out on the left as King went up in the seam. So halfway in between the middle and the outside. And then Monserrat setting right past her to Hammonds, or excuse me, to Hall.
So the Gators up 1. As Hall goes back to serve. They'll go right at Gillen again. They'll send it back to Gillen, who will get a swing and get a kill.
And most of Gillen's kills are what we would call a tool, where she's looking to swing and just get a touch on the block as the ball sails long, or try to tool the ball wide, turn it and just hope for the best. Swing high and hard and hope for the best.
Gillen had a match earlier this year, 20 kills, 20 digs.
Wow.
Was the first SEC player to do that this year. And again, she's just a freshman.
Clearly a very aggressive and explosive player at the outside.
Talking about aggressive and explosive.
Somebody just got blown up.
That was Dario King, who says that, heading to the bench.
And that ball was on Gracie Ryan quickly. The setter for Arkansas lined up. She was right in the right spot. And you'll see this here on the replay. But wow, what pace off of King.
King having a nice match. And not a good swing there by Malin Garrett as she sends it long, so the Gators a 2-point lead.
Looked like Garrett may have been in just a little early on that, looking for a first tempo ball, having to roll from a set that was in effect behind her as she was already at the net.
Allie Gregory to serve for Florida, sends it right into the net. And for the Gators, that is service error number 4.
Serving for the Razorbacks.
And allowing Arkansas to stay in this set so far. Florida late in the first set really started pouring it on, but still not a big difference in the score now.
Good swing by Rachel Kramer as we now see her make an appearance here in the second set. Dominant in set number 1, and we'll see if she can get it going here in the second set.
Kramer showing her versatility and hitting in front of the setter in a little bit of a push set. She didn't go straight to Monserrat on that. Stayed kind of in the middle of the court and let Monserrat set to her.
Good serve by Carlton. Arkansas sends it out to the left, and a good swing by Maggie Cartwright, the freshman from Kimberly, Wisconsin.
And the mobility of Gracie Ryan's what really impressed me on that play. Number 21 for Arkansas, the setter having to come all the way off the court into the middle of the court, still got around that pass, or that dig rather, and was able to feed the outside hitter.
Here's Elise Crumpton. And the Gators on the slide again, give it to Kramer. And no chance whatsoever for Arkansas's Elise Crumpton to dig that one up.
Florida continuing to mix it up. Last time was in front, this time on the slide down the line.
So the Gators with a 15-13 lead here in set number 2. They lead the match 1-0. And some scrappiness by the Gators on the backside as Rachel Kramer will get herself another block.
Saw a dig by number 5 Lauren Evans in the right back on that play. Something that when you get a pass of the quality that Paige Hammond's put up and the Gators are able to run the slide with Kramer, to be able to get a touch on that ball, super impressive.
So now Hargraves back to serve, and she'll get an ace as Gillen gave up on it. And that one just inside the line. So Hargraves, that's what she's there for, and did a nice job.
Well, and when you're down a set, Jeff, you got to pass the close ones. You don't hope for an error on that play. You gotta keep the ball in play.
So each team with 3 aces now, and Arkansas will try to have Rippey send it over again, but the Gators up for that one. But that one long.
With a heads-up play like Riley Fisher just made for the Gators and getting that dump in play and a good transition dig at that, to see the ball sail long is a little bit disheartening, regardless of whether you're leading in the set in the match or not.
So 17-15 now. The Gators a 2-point lead. And that's serve long. So the 5th service error for Arkansas here in the match.
Gators were winning that stat in the first set with a number of errors, and really so far there have been a couple longer rallies, but the tempo and the pace of the match is continually upset by unforced errors from the line.
So the Gators back to the first rotation as Monserrat serves, and Carlton sends it home. Nice job cross court by the lefty.
Carlton's got such a wide shot selection. We call it her shot cone. In this case, using an angle, facing a little bit toward the middle of the court and hitting away. So she's not what you would consider a body line hitter. You can't figure out where she's going to hit. It's nice when you're in that situation to know that you're supported by such a fan base.
We're back to live action, and Marley Monserrat serves it wide, so the Gators' 5th service area. Yeah, it's a big weekend here on campus with volleyball tonight. Of course, Thanksgiving holiday tomorrow, but basketball team will play, the men's team on Friday night, and then again volleyball Saturday at 4 o'clock before Florida State to wrap up the weekend. Dario King with a swing. She gets It's sent back. The Gators will have to just get it over. Arkansas gets it to the freshman, and she gets it down on the opposite end of the court. So again, Jillian Gillen with a nice swing, her 7th kill of the match.
Gillen still mixing it up. In this case, not a hard-driven ball, I would say, but swinging just to that opposite corner, finding her way over the block. That's a surgical, well-placed shot.
And that is 5 kills now in set number 2 for the freshman. Gators go to Thayer Hall, and Arkansas able to keep it alive, but a poor swing there by Savannah Downing gives the Gators a point.
And Arkansas starting off that exchange with a laser of a float serve. One of the ways you can take a larger, more offensive team out of their rhythm is to put service pressure on and try to limit the options that the setter has. But you got to follow that up with high efficiency swings as well.
And there was one by the freshman. Gillen gets her 8th kill, 6 of the set.
You can see here why the Razorbacks rely on Gillen so much. Huge explosive approach, big jump, and then a changeup at the last minute. Just roll the ball off the fingertips of the Gator block.
She has been the SEC Freshman of the Week twice here in her first season in Fayetteville. Gators back on the offense, and Carleton will get it down.
Gators going right back to the height that they have, but Carleton doesn't need to rely on her height. She's got shot selection that allows her to swing a vicious hard angle. She can go over the block with that height, and as a lefty, obviously happy about that last swing you can see there on screen, but as a lefty has the ability to turn her body and hit viciously down the line as well.
It's 4 kills for Carleton, but 9 now for Gillen.
How about this? As a 5'10 freshman, everybody on the other side of the court knowing exactly where the ball's going to go, and when you get it, you still come down with kills. She's got a bright future ahead of her in college volleyball.
But she serves it long. 6th service error now for the Arkansas Razorbacks, and puts the Gators 3 points away from winning set number 2.
And not an uncommon scenario for the freshman. Get a little excited, you get that kill, and go back there and sail the serve. But as a player, once she develops that all-around nature of her game, as outside hitters are it's necessary for them to do, expect big things from Gillen. Uh-oh.
And a good swing there by the freshman Maggie Cartwright.
Can't hang those overpass digs right up over the plane of the net. Gotta expect the swing.
Gators will get Riley Fisher, defensive specialist, sophomore from Kennesaw, Georgia, back in the match as Arkansas now within 2.
Jeff, you mentioned earlier on in the match that 3 or 4 of the Arkansas players that have worn the libero jersey are on the court pretty much at all times throughout the match. That's very similar for Florida, as you see Riley Fisher and at times Paula Sarame out there along with Chanel Hargraves and Allie Gregory, a very defensive-oriented team as well. We talk a lot about the height in the front row, but Florida's deep as far as their players that have the ability to keep the ball alive on the first contact.
Arkansas tries to set the middle. The Gators will do it as well, and Paige Hammond's down the pipe.
And that's case in point. Great read by Riley Fisher in picking up that tip. Good transition dig. Watch as she gets that ball right to Monserrat, and Monserrat can say, okay, who's got the best opportunity to get kills, and then get the ball to that hitter.
Yeah, nothing Rippey could do as Hammond serves one a hard line drive, but it hits the top of the tape.
Well, it's not a huge spread in the score, but when you're sitting at set point again, you might as well go for it. Yep. Be aggressive.
Serving for Arkansas, Lauren Evans.
So the sophomore Lauren Evans try to keep things alive for the Razorbacks here in set number 2. Hammond's a nice pass to Monserrat. They'll go to Kramer on the slide, and she's done that a lot tonight. She gets herself another kill, and the Gators get their second set. 7 kills now for Kramer.
No errors, and that's after 2 sets of play now.
You hit 333 in baseball, you're in the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
There's Lauren Dooley back in the match for the Gators. She has dug up. And now the freshman Gillen right back to work as she gets the first point for Arkansas here in set number 3.
Monserrat making a really quick move there defensively, getting an arm on it, but not quite enough to keep the ball alive.
Double digits now for the freshman. Number 10 has 10. And number 9, Claire Traynor serves. Long, 7th service error for Arkansas.
Traynor with the platinum hair there is like the Arkansas version of Riley Fisher.
Yeah.
They've got a Targaryen of their own over there.
So Thayer Hall now to serve for Florida. She'll attack the freshman, and they'll send it right side. Great job by Paige Hammond. Solo block there by number 7.
Not something you see very much from the outside hitter position, solo block wise. And for Paige Hammonds, it's her 11th on the season. Great look. You have to be in the right spot. You have to time it perfectly, and she did.
The Gators take a 2-1 lead, and the Gators will block it, but it is long, so that'll even the match and have another kill for Jillian Gillen. Early on in set number 2, neither team led by more than 2 points. Florida finally led it at 14-13, got a little separation then with a 4-1 run to get up 19-15, but Arkansas has hung in there in both of the first 2 sets before Florida pulling away late.
Well, whenever you've got a mismatch, whether it be ranking, size, ability, however you want to say it, can't take anything away from Arkansas, but you have to wonder at what point does it become a battle of attrition and they just can't keep up. And so far, that's not been the case. Arkansas has stayed in here swing for swing and kept pressure on the Gators.
Allie Gregory, a good serve. The Gators going to get to set up the offense, and Paige Hammonds cannot get it down. Good dig there by Hall.
Gotta love Gillen, though. Just swinging away and taking every advantage, as does Paige Hammonds.
Swung away there and gets it off of Arkansas's Lauren Evans for the kill.
Paige Hammonds looking at the outside of the block there. This is her sweet shot. She loves the go-to of looking angle and swinging cross body. And as I mentioned earlier, it's one of the shots that started off as kind of a roll shot, but now she's putting a lot more mustard on that as Paige Hammonds swings line.
Paige Hammonds with all SEC last year, and she was the Flow Volleyball High School National Player of the Year. Under Armour All-American first team coming out of high school. So her and then Thayer Hall, Mary Wise has gotten some good ones.
And I was about to say halfway through the camera angle on her there that she didn't look like she was chewing any gum, which is very rare. She's known for her headband and chewing away on that gum. And just as I was about to say something, she started chewing away. So.
Well, Rachel Kramer is known for that. 8th kill right from the middle, and we've seen a lot of smiles from Rachel Kramer tonight.
And why not when you're errorless and being able to contribute so much offensively for your team? That's a good look. Every reason to be happy.
Kramer blocks it again, and Arkansas can't recover. They're in the net.
Looked like maybe under on trying to trail off on that ball and catch it as it was coming down off the Kramer block. I was in the middle of talking about how Rachel Kramer is so effective offensively. She turns around and nearly gets a solo block of her own.
So the lefty, Holly Carlton, with the serve. And the Gators block it.
Hammond's not fooled on the set over there.
Great dig there by Savannah Downing, but Arkansas can't save it. And the Gators get some separation now as they lead it 7-3.
We haven't said much about Hall so far in the match. She's the quieter of the two outsides, just on that last swing out of the pipe, breaking into the positives, hitting percentage-wise on 19 swings.
Great serve by Carlton. Trainer will have to just send it over. Monserrat, a good save, and Hammond.
That stat you just mentioned is a direct reflection of how valuable it is to win the serve-pass battle, to be able to, regardless of which 3 players or fewer sometimes you have in the serve receive, to be able to give your setter options, and that's exactly what the Gators do.
Well, they're going to call a touch on that serve, so Arkansas can't lay off of it. Paige Hammond's going to get herself another ace.
And I have to take a quick look here, but I'm pretty sure that Paige Hammonds came into this match. Yes, she did, leading aces for the Gators. Had 35 coming into the match. And we'll see how the challenge works out here, but maybe notching another one onto that stat.
And it looks like Jason Watson wants to use his second challenge.
Tough call from that angle there as to whether there was a touch on number 6.
Yeah, Elise Crumpton sold it well, like she was backing off. It was one of our line judges that made the call.
You see that a lot, Jeff, in junior volleyball, particularly with the block. If you go up, let's take another angle here. Oh, I don't know.
Looked like the fingers maybe were scraped.
But you
and this also come back inconclusive.
Sure, it could, yeah. You have to go with the camera system that you have in the gym on that particular day, and if you don't have the right angle or if you don't have the right clarity, it has to be conclusive in order to overturn. But I was going to say, you see that in junior volleyball a lot, particularly with the block. You'll have a couple players go up to block. They come down and they say, no, no, no. if it was anywhere even remotely close, and that's what you saw Crumpton do on this one. Nope, she says out right away.
Well, so Crumpton certainly sold it well. We're still waiting. And for Crumpton, she is a recreation and sports management major. And they will give the point to Florida. And Crumpton wants to live overseas as an agent. So maybe she's getting some practice and selling stuff. And
well, when it comes to
sell it good enough.
Yeah, either men's or women's volleyball, if that's the kind of agent that she wants to be, then you almost have to either go south or head across the pond.
So the Gators up 10-4 now, and Hammond's going to get back-to-back aces here as Gillen cannot return it.
She continues to attack the line with this serve, being really aggressive. You can see from this angle here if you get the same service call from the Gator bench and going to what we call zone 1, the right back for Arkansas.
They do it again, and it's a third consecutive ace for Paige Hammond. And the Gators now on an 8-1 run.
And Watson in a unique situation where he doesn't have a whole lot of adjustments that he can make in this serve receive to pull another passer, knowing that Paige Hammond is probably going to go right back there. She does.
Went to Gillen again. But a nice pass there. And then Arkansas will get the point as I get the ball. And we'll send it back into play.
Serving for the Razorbacks, number 6, Elise Crumpton.
What a run by Paige Hammonds from the service line, being able to control the game, taking a little bit of pressure off the Gator defense and block with those serves.
Pass by Fisher. They'll give it to Hall. And Monserrat will try to send it back over.
That's an important aspect in volleyball, and in taking pressure off the other scoring positions, be it by blocks or attacks, by being aggressive with the serve. But, you know, there's more than one way to score, and Thayer Hall showing how to do it here. Mentioned that she hasn't had a stellar night, not really contributing to the offense as much as she typically does. She's a stalwart for the Gator offense, but
yeah, just her 6th kill of the night for Thayer Hall.
And hitting under 100, only hitting 95, but you cannot sleep on Thayer Hall. She's always ready to go.
Good swing by Elise Pamfield there. As Arkansas will get a point and sub back in Rachel Rippey. Their setter, and Lauren Evans will head back to serve.
And for the Gators, a shot at redemption for Lauren Dooley as we see her back in the front row now.
See if the Gators go to Dooley here. They do not. Come outside to Hall, who saves it.
I think that set was a bit beyond Hall. A little mistime. Made up with a block.
Yeah, she'll reject one right back onto the Arkansas side. So another solo block for the Gators.
Look at how she turns in, directs the ball right back into the court, and then comes down like she's been there before.
Yeah, that's the best part. Not much emotions. I got this. So Monserrat back to serve. A good serve. Right at Gillen again. Set to the left side, and that block will go out. So Arkansas's Maggie Cartwright will get the kill.
Arkansas just hammering away at the Gator block, and as I mentioned earlier, in some cases hoping for the best. And in this case, when you're tooling the block like that, you're hitting from a lower perspective. It can mess with the block timing of taller blockers.
Another service error for the Razorbacks. 9 on the match now as the Gators lead 15-7.
Arkansas just needs some serves to string the points together, especially when they're trying to climb out of this hole in set 3.
Another solo block as Paige Hammonds gets it well. High hands and
position on any team. You don't see as many sets come to the outside or to the right side if you're an outside blocker, and so you don't get as many opportunities to block.
Carlton will just have to get it back over for Florida. Dug up nicely there by Gregory, and Carlton's going to get a swing, but dug up nicely on the other side by Lauren Evans. Gators will get an opportunity here, though. Monserrat to the outside, and Hammonds hammers it.
And that cross-body shot again. And so far, the Gators just using Dooley to try to draw the block in the middle. But as you see here, Arkansas getting almost 2 blockers out. Doesn't matter, though. Hammond swings down the line. That's the shot that she loves. It's her go-to. If If you leave the line open, Paige Hammonds is going to hit that draw.
Another timeout by the Razorbacks as the Gators lead 17-7 here in set number 3. So Florida just serve.
There was a time in the SEC where the Gators were so dominant. I think despite having the possibility of not getting that 24th conference championship, Wise would agree that it's a better climate to have so many teams that are evening out the parity in the conference. Because what that does, of course, is sets the table for more SEC teams in the tournament. It's a larger recruiting draw, but at the same time, you don't want to have your back against the wall for the first time when it's do or die in the tournament. You want to be tested as you go through the conference, and that's something that all these SEC teams are seeing more of.
There was one point in that tremendous run for Mary Wise. They won 100 consecutive sets, and they were the first to win 130 consecutive regular season conference matches.
Yeah, there was, and I want to say it was finishing with Chris Bova at the helm setting, but there was a class there that went all the way through their 4 years without ever dropping conference set. Can you imagine that?
Pretty special stuff, and a special serve there by Allie Gregory, another Gator ace. We're giving a lot of T-shirts tonight. 7 aces for the Gators. Monterey sets to the outside. We get a first look at Haley Warner, but Arkansas able to get it. And now a tip on the other side. No. Kramer is looking for a tip, but the line just says that's out.
Mary Wise is looking for the challenge card.
Yeah, immediately, Mary Wise will say, I believe that a Razorback touched that one. Kramer's still smiling, and we'll get a look at it right now.
When you've got so many of your team saying, oh, there's got to be a touch there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely swipe the fingers. Brings me back to my, when the kids were little, that Dora movie just came out. Swiper, no swiping.
And these, to change back to the challenge here, these opportunities give both teams almost like a pseudo timeout. While the officials are deliberating over the call, the teams go to the sideline, as you see there. And, well, as you can see.
And they will overturn the call, and we'll get a great look at it here. How about that?
Right off of the outside fingers.
Great job by our camera crew. Producer Scott Snyder doing some fantastic work, as always.
Got to give credit where credit's due.
And the Gators just 5 points away from a sweep of the Razorbacks and opportunity to win their 20th time here against no losses to the Razorbacks. Here's Haley Warner, and she's going to get a kill. The sophomore from Fayetteville, Arkansas. So she gets to play the hometown team. And the Gators now on a 7-1 run.
And imagine that, after having sat and watched this match for an hour and 15 minutes, you get called and come away with the kill on the first attempt.
Arkansas will go back to the freshman, and a nice kill there from Jillian Gillen.
No surprise, Gillen going high hands. That arm looking just as fresh as when she started the match. She's explosive in getting off the ground, but so impressive in being able to continue to put heat on the ball, just like it's the first point of the match.
That is her 14th kill, but it's on 35 swings, so the Gators have done a nice job. There's another service error. 11 now for the Razorbacks.
And the rest of the squad not doing Gillen any favors when they go back to the service line. This is not the first time that she's gotten a kill and then had to give up the ball in the very next play.
So I mentioned the 11 on the match. It's 5 this set. And that's why there's such a discrepancy. 22-9, Gator lead.
Great over-shoulder pass by Arkansas there to put him in contention.
Malin Garrett, another freshman, with the kill there.
Serving for the Razorbacks, number 10, Jillian Gillen.
An often aggressive serve from Riley Fisher on that one. Off midline, Arkansas is able to put up a 3-option pass, and when they do that, very successful at getting kills.
There's Kramer on the slide, dug back over. She'll get another chance, and Arkansas keeps it alive again.
Oh, and almost finding the court on a scrappy play. All over the place on the Arkansas side.
Serving for the Gators, number 7.
So they will have to reset. And Paige Hammonds, who had the 3 consecutive aces earlier in the match, will try to finish off the Razorbacks.
Going right back to that same position in Gillen. Oh no, Looked like Riley Fisher got baited on that. Maybe saw a touch at the net, but attempted an overhead dig on a ball that was clearly headed out of bounds.
Elise Crumpton back to serve for Arkansas.
What a pass from Hammonds.
And what a block there by Maggie Cartwright. Freshman, just 6 feet tall, goes against 6'8" and rejects it.
And look at that alignment. Cartwright having to use all of her reach, almost a soft block, not penetrating the Gator side of the court, not really being able to for the amount of height that it gives up on the block, but great job there.
Point, Arkansas.
Mary Wise not happy with that call, and looks like she's going to challenge again, as the overpass was right in front of the up-ref, Bill Thornburg.
Malin Garrett took a swipe on that, and the argument here is that the ball never made contact with the plane of the net. In order for Cartwright to play that ball, the ball had, but did play against Georgia. Actually, against UGA on Sunday, had 3 aces and only 1 error from the service line.
Lauren Evans to serve again. Fisher gets it over to Monterey, but Hall team get a good swing.
Just having to put it in bounds there. Smart play, though.
And Arkansas trying to stay alive here. A couple consecutive points on match point.
Flashy offense as Pam Fields up, feigning the one, or that quick set in front of the setter, trying to draw a block. And Arkansas delivering all the way out to the pin. Nice looping set. Of course, coming up with the kill.
So 5-1 run now for Arkansas. And number 5 back to serving.
Pipe set there, a little too low for Hammonds to swing on.
And another kill for Maggie Cartwright.
All the Gator fans here on their feet, chanting yes every time the Gators contact and no every time Arkansas does, but they've been on their feet for a few points now, Jeff.
Well, I think Jason Watson, Arkansas's coach, has to be happy with the fight. Arkansas not giving up.
Absolutely.
There's another overpass. And that time, Marley Monterey will win the battle, and the Gators will win the match, sweeping Arkansas, winning set number 3, 25-16. So the Gators now 20-0 against the Razorbacks here all time in Gainesville, and 44-3 in this series. Josh, Arkansas gave a little fight.